आइए अब आपको सीधे लिए चलते हैं राजधानी दिल्ली, जहां पर फेडरेशन फॉर वर्ल्ड एकेडमिक्स का एनुअल कॉन्क्लेव कार्यक्रम में आपको बता दें कि इस समय संबोधन चल रहा है और इसमें कई इंडस्ट्री से जुड़े लोग भी शिरकत कर रहे हैं।
A big round of applause for Mr. Samir Kumar.
Namaskar. Thank you very much. Respected Professor Agrawal, I'm really blessed to share the dance with you. Really, sir, he spoke really well. I'll try and mix it up in English to us, otherwise it becomes a little bit dry. And ma'am, you spoke really well, and fundamentally raising young kids. What you said about the difficulty of finding the motivated teachers is what we face as parents also. And the learning there has been, because we are talking about the learning, बच्चे जो हैं वो सुनते नहीं हैं, क्या करते हैं वो देखते हैं. They do what they follow, what they see. हम उनको कितना ही बोले सुबह जगो और खुद 8 बजे सो के जगते हैं. That's never going to happen, right? So you rightly said, unless the teachers themselves have the big dreams, how will we pass it on? So very, very important point. Thank you for bringing this up. Rijju साहब ने बहुत ही अच्छी बात कही FW के लिए, and I must congratulate for having that, because bringing the academia and industry together is an essential thing, and I see this very much in parallel to our Sanatan Dharma, where why is it possible for us to always be in harmony with each other? In the same household, my youngest one is a big fan of Hanumanji. Has no dispute that the mother is a Devi Bhakt and I'm a Krishna Bhakt, and it doesn't matter. And similarly, I mean, this grows beyond our home into our neighborhood. Who's following, someone is Guru's Bhakt, someone is, worshipper of Allah. It doesn't matter. We can live very harmoniously with each other. Because fundamentally, India is built on this concept of darshan plus sadhana. We all may have individual darshan, the philosophies, but philosophies alone don't matter. We have to practice them. We have to bring them into reality. And the moment we experience firsthand our individual philosophies, we come to the same point. So because darshan plus sadhana brings us, all of us, at the same platform. And that's where I see the parallel that when we talks about academia and industry working together. Because classrooms alone, I mean, they were always, questionable, but this pandemic taught us that literally, as man rightly pointed out, that bridge, that's what we have been doing. Because every industry, after hiring young grads, what do? Get them to train. Like, forget whatever you have done in the academics, now you train and make them employable and get them to do the real stuff. And I'll just defer a little bit, ma'am, when you talked about 30-year career. I don't think that this generation has a 30-year career. They have to have a lifelong plan. Gone are the days when people can retire at whatever chosen age, 50, 60, 70 even. It's going to be a lifelong process. So the learning has to be a lifelong process. How much time do I have? Okay, then if you're running behind, I won't go long there. So some of the key learnings working at Prasar Bharati, News Service and Digital Platform. But sir, I would like to take this occasion also to talk about just Prasar Bharati. We are not the regulator of media. We are India's public broadcaster. So what that means is the 4th largest economy in the world, which is soon going to be the 3rd largest. We are the voice of the public. There's a bit of a difference. On purpose, I'm not using the word government here, because we are a corporation. So, majority of staff are government staff, but there are other sort of contractuals and there are a lot of casual staff as well. So all in all, a lot of these government staff also have had difficulty of not having a promotion in like last 20, 30 years. So clearly it goes beyond the politics of various parties. So with all that, we have close to 250 radio stations, 26 TV channels, 7 of them are 24/7, and then there are some which are producing 4 or 5 hours of content. And then there are some like less number of hours of content. We are the ones who are doing programs in multiple sort of languages, cultural, the three things, right? The education, entertainment, and information. So all three are the mandate. Being a corporation, of course, the first priority is to get the right information and the right content in front of the public. But also, it needs to somehow sustain itself. So what Sir said, Riju Sir said about the finances, that is there also. So it's not very different if you think of it in terms of, like, you can say that it's the world's biggest media house. We have a sanctioned staff strength of 37,000. Right now there are 25,000 staff, but half of that will be retiring in less than 2 years or maybe at max 3 years. So there are a lot of challenges, so to say. So amidst all this, I got a very unique and fascinating mandate almost 2.5, 3 years back. And I'm really grateful for this opportunity. When we were talking about, Sir was talking about quality is lacking in the rural areas and other places. So I grew up in a town called Sasaram in Bihar. My 11th and 12th 2 years, there were only 2 days classes. I wanted to do classes, there were no classes. So yeah, the situation is really bad out there. But luckily, God was very kind. I could go to IIT, then to IIM, and I've been working in investment banking. Most of my career had been outside India. Just to brief so that gives you the context of what we're doing and what our learnings are in terms of the pandemic. I've been with some of the major global banks, working out of first London, then Tokyo, and then Singapore, over a decade in Singapore alone. Then to serve the country, came back to India 2018. First I was CEO.
Online is a good tool, good facility, which must be used. But, I've seen teachers being trained online, and when the teacher's teacher called the name, and the so-called teacher was found in the bedroom. Is that online teaching? Is it delivery? So first thing is online technologies, which we have mastered very well, and hats off to all my teacher colleagues all over the country and even in the world to some extent. We use online technology reasonably effectively for teaching. And don't look at yourself as city teachers or something. Look at the arts teacher in a remote village. He used smartphone to teach. And that's creditable. I know of village panchayats who collected 10 smartphones by donation and distributed to 10 students in different hours, because every student in the village could not afford a smartphone. So these are the kind of innovations we did during lockdown. And innovations were many. Our engineering students could design a ventilator of the size of a toaster in the kitchen at about 10,000 rupees, which could be used at home by most of the patients who are not in a critical phase. Now that innovation spirit we should keep as a learning from lockdown. In the lockdown online mode, we had all the meetings start at 10:00. I think that's another learning of the lockdown, which we must keep, that if we can remain on time online, why can't we remain on time offline too? After all, people spared themselves at the right time in the lockdown meetings. I've said no online meeting was late even by 5 minutes. And I have rarely seen an offline meeting starting on time. So that is one very strong learning which we can have from lockdown. Innovative spirit. Some of the students thought, I think when you go for sea walking, they give you a helmet which is connected to the oxygen pipe all the time. And you walk on the sea. Some of the students thought if oxygen supply can be maintained from the ship to the helmet, why can't that be used as a ventilator? And they just changed one valve in the helmet and converted it into a ventilator. And that one valve was also 3D printed in their laboratory using a 3D printer, which equipment itself costs only 15,000 rupees. So if you have an equipment of 15,000 rupees and can convert sort of tourist helmets to ventilators, that is innovation. I think that's the kind of spirit which we should continue to maintain. We need so much to be invented, which has to go on. Friends,
For the award ceremony, it's time for IIRF Education Impact Awards. And before moving further, I would like to inform you that there are 4 categories under which we are giving the awards today. So let's begin the ceremony, and I would like to request our guest of honor for presenting the awards to our lovely winners. So first of all, we'll be giving media awards, and would like to request Mr. Sameer Kumar as well, and Professor K.K. Agarwal as well, Dr. Irfan Rizvi and Dr. Urvashi Makar. So under media awards category, the award which is being given to the winners is Media Ratna for Spearhead Journalism Award, and the winner is Mr. Umesh Chaturvedi, consultant at Akashvani. A big round of applause for the winner. Mr. Umesh Chaturvedi, can we have you on the stage, sir? On the stage, sir. A big round of applause for the winner, sir. Moving ahead, our next winner is Mr. Aman Chopra, editor at Network 18. He's also being awarded with Media Ratna for Spearhead Journalism Award. But unfortunately, he couldn't make it today, so we'll move ahead. The next winner is Mr. Utkarsh Lodha, CEO at A1 TV. He's also being awarded with Media Ratna for Spearhead Journalism Award. Mr. Utkarsh Lodha. Yeah, Mr. Utkarsh Lodha is here to receive this award. Mr. Lodha is coming on the stage for receiving his award. A big round of applause for him. Our next winner is Ms. Padmaja Joshi, senior anchor at Times Now. She is also being awarded with Media Ratna for Spearhead Journalism. But unfortunately, she is not here. She is in Lakhimpur Kheri. She is covering the news apparently. So we'll move ahead. Our next winner is Ms. Jyoti Singh, reporter at India Science Channel. We would like to request all of you to give her a big round of applause. Media Ratna for Spearhead Journalism Award goes to Ms. Jyoti Singh of India Science Channel. Our next winner is Ms. Geetu Chauhan, anchor cum producer at News Nation. Ms. Geetu Chauhan, would like to request you to come up on the stage, please.